Are you serious? Are you serious? I want to thank James Koresh for this report. But we are having earthquakes, and pretty powerful, very powerful earthquakes in different places. You know, the Bible said in the last days there'd be these wars and rumors of wars, and nation would rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There'd be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers or different places, various places. Well, we're having that. We've had 3 earthquakes over 6 in the last 12 hours. Let me just give you some of that information. There's been 33 earthquakes over 2.5 now in the last 24 hours. You can see some of the, on the map here where some of these are at. Look up there. Wow. Near the Middle Eastern part up there. And then you can see some big ones out there in the South Pacific. They're in Asia and north of Australia. Matter of fact, let me give you the report here. There was a 4.2 earthquake in Morocco. There was a 4.8 in Papua New Guinea, 4.5 in El Salvador, 4.3 up in Alaska, 4.5 in Panama. Then we had a 6.1, very powerful quake in Micronesia. 6.1 in Micronesia, followed by a 4.7 in Peru. Also a 4.5 hit Chile. A 4.7 hit Peru. 4.7 hit Papua New Guinea. Then we had a very powerful 6.6 that hit Micronesia, followed by a 4.7 in the Fiji Islands, followed by a 4.8 Japan, and a 6.2 in the Philippines. So, and that's just some of the earthquakes. Like I said, 33 earthquakes in the last 24 hours, 3 of them over 6. Micronesia with a 6.6 and a 6.1, and those 2 quakes were, I'll give you the amount of hours, those 2 quakes were 12 hours apart. So they were 12 hours apart. There was a 6.1 at Micronesia, and then 12 hours later, 6.6. Also, you've had a 6.2 in the Philippines, and then you've had some very strong quakes happening all over the earth, especially in South America, Central America, and of course all along the United States. Oklahoma always seems to get one now. California getting a lot. Of course, California's got look at all the earthquake activity in California, and then throw in there the fact that they're in a severe drought, and they have now 100 degrees temperatures, and they have high gusting winds and raging wildfires. 20,000 people have been evacuated. It's even threatening now a nuclear plant. They're evacuating some of the people that work in the nuclear plant at Camp Pendleton. So, Central America, South America, the Middle East, the Ring of Fire, out there in Asia, out in the China Sea and out in Asia. There's just a lot of activity going on, and the Bible said this would go on in the last days. Matter of fact, in the book of Isaiah, in Isaiah chapter 24, it told us in verse 20 that the earth was going to reel and rock like a drunken man. It was going to toss to and fro. And so we're starting to see that happen as these big quakes are hitting in various places. Now also, the Bible talks about pestilence, diseases in the last days. I want to thank James Koresh. We've been monitoring this MERS virus. Well, Saudi Arabia is reporting 10 more people have died from MERS, and 20 more cases of MERS. Now, it is a Saudi Arabian virus. It really came out of Mecca. It was birthed out of the heart of Islam. all the cases have come out of Saudi Arabia. It's the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. But now 2 people from Saudi Arabia are in America with MERS. One here in Indiana and one in Orlando, Florida. Saudi Arabia says 10 more people have been affected and died. 20 more cases. 10 more have died in the last 2 days from MERS. The total number of infections now in Saudi Arabia is 511. The death toll has risen to 157. So this is a very serious situation, especially when Ramadan is coming up in July. And millions of people will be going to Saudi Arabia, to Mecca, for the Hajj later this fall. This is not a good sign, but it is a biblical sign, and it is upon the earth. Meanwhile, there are other issues that I think are very pressing. Again, James Koresh did some great research. There's now 21 people dead in Vietnam, and it's from rioting. An anti-China riot is going on right now. Reuters is reporting 21 people have been killed in Vietnam. A doctor said today, on this May the 15th, 2014, a huge foreign steel project was set ablaze as an anti-China riot spread the center of the country a day after arson and looting was taking place in the south. The doctor at the hospital says 5 Vietnamese workers and 16 other people described as Chinese were killed. So these are Chinese individuals living in Vietnam that are being killed in the rioting. One of the worst breakdowns in the Vietnamese relationship with its neighbor of China since the brief border war of 1979. There are about 100 people sent to the hospital last night. Many of these were Chinese being attacked by the Vietnamese in Vietnam. And I'll tell you what this is about, folks. It's because China told Vietnam they were taking over the waters. To back away, they were going to put their oil rigs in what was Vietnamese waters. Basically, China is telling Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Vietnam, Japan, everybody you guys need to stay right at the edge of your water. We're taking over the whole China Sea, and you guys can have a little bit of water just in front of your shores, but you're not going to have equal. We're not all going to share this ocean because there's too much oil, and China plans on taking it. Now, this is a very dangerous situation here because this can get... See, this is what I'm saying, folks. You've got wars and rumors of wars everywhere. You turn. North and South Korea is at each other. You have this horrible Arab Spring disaster in Syria, which is a proxy war between the United States and Russia. Now you have the Ukrainian invasion by Russia, and it's, again, looking like it could become a proxy war between the United States and Russia over Ukraine. That affects Europe. And then you've got China bullying everybody around in the South Sea. And then where's the missing Malaysia plane? Nobody even knows where that is. That thing was hijacked, there's no doubt. And then there's the Middle East and Iran and their nuclear threat of Israel. Are you serious? And then you got Nigeria with the radical Islamic group Boko Haram, kidnapping and murdering Christians, a Christian genocide. Those 200-some girls that were kidnapped were all Christian girls. They were kidnapped out of the Christian school by radical Islamists. And then you have the murdering of Christians in Somalia and Uganda and the persecution of Christians in Pakistan and in India. Matter of fact, and I have another report sent to me by Jancy Mora. A Christian woman in Sudan has just been sentenced to death for her faith. I'll give you that information a little bit. I'll come back and tell you more about that. Something biblical is going on here with all these signs of the second coming of Christ. Are you saved? It's time to give your life to Jesus Christ. We're living in the last days, no question.